Welcome back to the Fire and Water Cooking Channel. I'm Darren, of course, and today we're going to do our first low and slow cook on the Weber SmokeFire second generation that I got a couple of weeks ago on this 12-pound brisket. All right, I'm going to get this thing going. I'll be right back.
Smoking, grilling, getting hot and hotter, sous vide and chilling from fire and water.
Alright guys, like I said, this is going to be my first low and slow cook on the Weber SmokeFire EX4 Generation 2 pellet grill. I've cooked a couple things on this already, and so far I've had good luck with it. But this will be my first low and slow. And one of the things that I'm going to show you when I show you the app is that I'm going to cook it the way the Weber app wants me to cook it. And one of the things the Weber app wants you to do is put a water pan in there. So I've already did that. I've got the SmokeFire on smoke boost right now because I'm going to have it on the smoke boost for probably about the first hour, and then we're going to switch back to the regular cooking cycle for the app itself. But so I got my brisket here. It was 12-pound Costco Packer brisket, and there really wasn't a whole lot of trimming I needed to do. I'm going to leave most of this fat cap on, and the way I'm going to put this on the smoker is I'm going to do fat cap down because this is the fire and heat's coming from the bottom. I know it's convection, but it doesn't really have a one-way heat like a like a stick burner would, or even a charcoal smoker. So what I'm going to do is put this fat side down, and I left most of the fat cap on here. I did trim off some of the bigger chunks and some of the uglier looking stuff, but a lot of this should render. One of the things we're going to see is how the fat, collects in the bottom. I went ahead and I cleaned out the bottom of the SmokeFire, and I'm going to show you a little clip of that video right after this. That they suggest you just clean all the ash out of the bottom before you do something that's got a heavy fat that's going to go, put into the smoker. So that's what I did. But I'm going to go ahead and get this all seasoned up, and then I'll be back when we're putting it on the smoker. All right, now I'm just going to season this up. Both sides, I'm going to put a generous coat, and I'm using Cosmo's dry rub here, the cow cover. It's got a little bit of everything in it. You can do salt, pepper, if you want just salt, pepper if you want. You can do salt, pepper, garlic. You can use pretty much any kind of beef rub you want. I'm going to just use this Cosmo's cow cover because it does a few things. It gives me a great color because it's got some colors in there like paprika. It's got a little bit of spice to it, a little bit more than just that salt and pepper. So sometimes I crave a little bit more than just the simple seasonings. And you can see this has got some good chunks of stuff in here. And like I said, I'm going to put a really good coating of this on here. Just make sure it's coated everywhere. Both sides really, really well. Pretty much just like this, guys. I'm going to just get it all the way covered. Doesn't take a rocket surgeon to season up a brisket, that's for sure. Just make sure you get it covered all the way. I don't use any kind of binders or slathers. I mean, the meat's already wet and tacky, so it's going to stick to there no matter what. I'm going to go ahead and flip this over, do the other side, but I'll be back when we're putting this on the smoker. I'll show you just exactly what we're going to do. All right, guys, Weber suggests that you take this cleaning tool and scrape out any excess ash in the bottom of the cooker before you cook a low and slow, just in case you get any excess fat that collects with the ash. So just make sure you scrape all the ash down into those little holes into the tray so that you clean out your tray before you do this, just so you don't have any issues of flare-ups. Okay, I'll be back. All right, all. So like I said, this has been on smoke boost now for about 5 or 6 minutes, so you got some good smoke rolling there. And I'm going to go ahead and make sure you see my setup here. Like I said, I've cleaned it out, pretty much all the ash from the bottom, and I've emptied out the ash pan too in the bottom. So any residual grease that doesn't hit the pan is going to go down into the bottom, and it's going to collect into that grease catcher in the bottom. So hopefully we don't have any grease fires or anything like that. That's one of the things I'm going to test out. I didn't want to put a whole big pan covering the whole bottom, just because I feel it would take away some of the convection process here, but I do have a good size water pan in there, and it's filled with about half up with water. So we're going to go ahead and use that. Got my brisket here. Like I said, I'm going to go ahead and put that on. Fat cap down. And there you go. Make sure I cover any empty spots here with the rub. And I probably will, once I come and check on it, hit this with a little bit of a spritz of water, just to make sure that it's getting enough smoke to it. I'm gonna use my food probe here to monitor it, and I'm actually gonna put it right in the thick part here between the point and the flat. So we're gonna monitor that part of the brisket for our temperature. When it gets up to around 165 or so in the stall, we're going to take it out and wrap it. All right, guys, I'm going to put this down. Like I said, smoke boost probably for about an hour. Then we're going to crank it up to around 250. I'll be back. Hey guys, I just wanted to show you here. I made sure I filled up my hopper all the way here. I might put just a little bit more because this is going to be a long cook. So make sure you check out your hopper. Make sure you got enough pellets in there to cover your cook time. Especially with this grill, you need to make sure you got it full so that it slides down into the pot there to the auger, so it gets up into your into the auger area really good. So just make sure you check that before you get going. All right, guys, one of the great things about the SmokeFire is it has this program where you can actually plug it in and put your probe in to your meat, and it'll pretty much walk you through the cook process. So you can either use this or you can use it manually, so you don't have to use the app if you don't want to, or you can just use the app just to monitor the cooking temperatures. But it does have videos telling you how to prepare your brisket, where to put your probe and all that, so it's pretty good. All right, I'll be right back. Hey guys, this brisket's been sitting at 153 for the last hour and a half or so, and it hasn't started climbing, so obviously it's at the stall. So I'm going to go ahead and open this up and kind of show you how the bark is doing. Actually got pretty good color, pretty good looking bark there. Can't complain about that at all. And what I'm going to do now, I'm going to go ahead and take this off and wrap it in pink butcher paper with a little bit of beef stock, and then we're going to crank the heat up. And I want to get this thing up to 203 at least, so we can eat this for dinner tonight in the next 3 hours or so. So I should be able to get this up there and do that after I wrap it. I'm going to crank the heat, kind of like a hybrid, low and slow for the first part, and then a hot and fast towards the end. So all right, let me get this off and I'll show you how I'm going to wrap it. All right, guys, so I got a couple of big pieces of pink butcher paper here. I prefer using pink butcher paper than foil, but you can do it either way you want. I've removed the probe from the brisket. I'm going to go ahead and pull it off of the grill smoker, bring it over here. I got 2 sheets here. I got a pan underneath there to give me some kind of, give me a little trough here, because I'm going to put just a little bit of beef stock, regular beef stock in here. And what it's going to do is going to kind of braise it, give it a little bit of moisture to kind of braise this up a little bit. The pink butcher paper will actually let this breathe a little bit so it doesn't turn all pot roasty. But I'm putting probably about a little bit more than a 1/4 cup in here. I don't want too much because it's going to leak out anyway. I'm going to leave the fat cap. Since we had it down most of the time, I'm going to put the fat cap up this time. So I'm just going to put this right back on the smoker, but this is going to be the part that goes on the bottom, but it's going right over the top of that water pan. So I'll show you 1 minute when I get it over there and when it's sitting on the grill smoker again. I'll be right back. All right, guys, so I still got my water pan in there. It's got some water still left in there and some of that fat. I'm gonna go ahead and flip this over so that it keeps it closed. See, it's all wrapped up. I'm gonna go ahead and put my meat thermometer back in. I'm just gonna try to pick a really thicker piece here so we can monitor it. That should be good. All right, we're gonna crank the heat up to about 275 and maybe 300 just to get it to where we can get this thing cooking some more. We got plenty of smoke to it, got a nice bark. Now we just want this thing to finish off. So I'm gonna kick this up to, we're gonna right up to 300. All right, guys, it's been right about 9 hours or so. I did crank the heat up some to push it a little long, a little faster, kind of more of like a low and slow mixed with a hot and fast. So I had the temperature up to closer to 400 to finish it out. But as you can see, I didn't have any grease fires. Of course, yeah, I did have the water pan slash drip pan right there underneath it for most of the fat. So that's what they suggest to do. I'm going to do it that way. It just makes sense to me to not have the open, the fat rolling down into the open flame. But you know, you guys can do what you want to do. But it makes sense to me to have that pan there. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this off now. We're going to slice into it. Usually I would give this a rest for about an hour or so, but we're hungry and we're ready to eat. So let me go ahead and get this out, unwrap, and we'll take a slice. I'll be right back. All right, guys, we're going to get a close-up of this here real quick, and we'll take a slice. You can see it's still pretty hot. You can see some of the, since the flame kind of comes up through that grill, because there's no real thing blocking it, kind of got a little crispy on this side, and that's where the water pan wasn't. So you can see it did get it's a little crispy over there, a little darker. You can see it's still steamy pretty much there. Still has a good bark to it. Lots of juice bubbling out for sure. Yeah, this is one little corner. They're kind of crispy, but pulls right off. Oh, got my glove. Yep. Everything else though is probing pretty good. We're gonna cut this. I'm gonna cut a piece right here. Right from this end right here, because this is kind of the fatty point area. Check out that. Look at that smoke ring there. Make sure you guys can see that smoke ring. Real juicy. That paper off of there. Yeah, man. Melt in your mouth. So except for this one spot here. So except for this one spot here where it was kind of hanging over, it got kind of crispy because I had the temperature turned up quite a bit to get this thing moving. I blame that on myself. I really should have started this at about 8 o'clock in the morning. I just got it started at about 10:30. So if I would have had a couple more hours, I probably wouldn't have had this issue pop up. But other than that, guys, works good. Like I said, use a water pan and you're going to be fine. I mean, got plenty of smoke flavor. So far, the Weber SmokeFire does what it's supposed to do. Haven't had any issues with it yet. The programming's been running fine. I haven't had any grease fires or anything like that. Actually, I just want to let you know that I still had some pellets left. So this was a 9.5 hour cook. Still had some pellets left, so I probably could have went 12 hours with no problem with a 1 load of pellets. So check it out, guys. Make sure you follow us on Facebook, Instagram. Check out the Weber SmokeFire EX4 on Amazon or wherever you buy them. But thanks for watching. I'll see you again in the next fire and water cooking video.